What's going on, guys? Briar Rabbit here. Today is Friday. That means Zer is back in the tower. He's hanging out by these big, black, mysterious-looking doors that we'll seemingly never find out what's behind, but whatever. He's over here by the speaker's chamber. We're going to go check out what he's got. He's got a pretty good inventory this week. We got no backup plans for the Titan class. These are super fun gauntlets with defenders. The reason for that is force multiplier. Shotgun kills trigger force barrier, and force barrier's duration is increased. So here's the thing with these. You have to set up your Titan specifically around these gauntlets to really maximize the frequency of the force barrier and how long it lasts. Once you do that, these are super fun in PvP and in PvE. They really add a different dimension to playing your Titan, and one that's really fun to do. So you're going to be running around with shotguns, you're going to be doing a lot of melee kills, it's really going to be a close range build, and it's a really fun build. So I highly recommend getting these. Set up a Titan, give it a shot, I bet you'll like it. As far as a reroll goes, don't reroll this. This is perfect the way it is. Increased discipline, increased strength. You definitely want to have strength here. We've got rain blows to increase your melee attack speed. That's perfect. And shotgun loader, again, that's perfect. It goes perfectly with force multiplier here. So don't reroll this. Definitely pick it up if you haven't used it. If you have it and you haven't used it, try a build on your Titan. I bet you'll have fun with it. All right, next for the hunters, we got the Knucklehead Radar. These were a kind of fan favorite in year one. In year two, they've lost some value just because of the other exotics that are out there. Sensor Pack. Radar remains visible while aiming primary weapons. This isn't super useful in PvE content, but in PvP it can be, especially if you're playing an objective game mode. Consider this situation, right? You know the enemy's coming, so you aim down sights, you wait for them so you can get that first shot off. But an enemy's coming behind you. With Sensor Pack, you'll see them on your radar even while you're aiming down sights. Very, very nice. Maybe not a top-tier exotic on the hunter, but not a bad one by any means. Comes with increased discipline, increased strength, inverse shadow, ashes to assets, and better already. I'm really going to recommend re-rolling this based on how you like to play your hunter. You can definitely stick with the roll that's here, but it's really going to be all about how you like to play your hunter and what you're going to use this Knucklehead Radar for, whether it be PvP or PvE. All right, next up for the Warlock class, we got the Apotheosis Veil. Now, I haven't used the Apotheosis Veil since Crota's End was kind of the newest raid, right? And the reason I used it was because health was an issue when you were fighting Crota, and this thing really helps with this. So Private Reserves immediately regenerate health. That's always been there, but melee and grenade energy upon activating your super, that's new for year two, and that really kind of ups the utility of the Apotheosis Veil. This thing also has infusion, replenished health each time you pick up an orb of light. So that combined with Private Reserves means that you can get your health back very easily in a number of situations. So what I'd recommend for this is a Warlock who's maybe having trouble staying alive during the Oryx fight. Put the Apotheosis Veil on. Maybe you're trying to hold down one of those platforms. You're getting a little close to death. You can just pop a super, have full health back, and have a melee and a grenade ready to go. When you get to the middle of the arena, hopefully there's some orbs there for you to, again, refill your health and get your super back so you're ready to use Private Reserves again for the next round. So this can be very useful in certain situations. I would say it's more useful for PvE than PvP, but if you are running into issues keeping your Warlock alive, take a look at the Apotheosis Veil, see if it can help you out. All right, next for a weapon, we've got Dragon's Breath, one of my new favorite weapons kind of in year two. Napalm, release trigger after weapon fire to drop a solar damage napalm canister. This ends up being a ton of fun. You can ricochet those napalm canisters off of walls, off of ceilings. Ends up being hugely fun. I wouldn't say exactly the most useful thing in the world, but it looks spectacular. It's really fun to use. I'd say mostly in PvE, but there are certain situations, like if you're going for that Black Spindle quest where you have a lot of enemies in a tightly packed space, that this thing is actually very useful. So I would recommend getting this just because it's so fun to use. You may not end up kind of sending this all the way up to 310, 320, but I can guarantee you that you'll have fun using it when you're running strikes or running dailies or whatever you're doing. Next, we have the Legacy Engram. It's a heavy weapon Engram for 31 strange coins, which is way too expensive. We've got the Curios Plasma Drive and Stealth Drive, so if you want to upgrade your blue Rare Sparrow to Legendary status and change the color of the contrail, that'll do that for you. We've got Heavy Ammo Synth, 3 of coins, Glass Needles to reroll your exotics, and Motes of Light. So I'm actually going to be picking up a bunch of these 3 of coins because I really like having these, and I've got all the exotics that are for sale this week. But I think it's not a bad week for Xur. Sure, a lot of the stuff is, actually all of the stuff is year 1 gear that's kind of been modified for year 2. I think the Knucklehead Radar hasn't been modified, but everything else has. It's a pretty good week. Hopefully you guys will give a shot on these no backup plans. The Apotheosis Veil can be very useful if you're having trouble keeping that Warlock alive, and the Dragon's Breath is super fun. So that's going to do it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.